answer to the version that the council is putting to you. You don't have to agree with him, but if you do agree with him, you can say so. Now, we know that when we were in private session, we had explored that, how the story changed, and you had indicated why you changed the story. That's already on the record. There is no need for you to keep repeating that, unless there is something different you want to add. But that you can do so, but mindful that we are in the public session.
Thank you.
But just listen to his questions, and if you agree, you say I agree. If you disagree, you say I disagree.
And Mr. Witness, you changed your story this time because benefits were available to you. Wasn't that the reason?
No.
No further questions, Mr. President. Perhaps before I wrap it off, we should ask that the PIS be admitted into evidence. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. The PIS would go in as the next protected information sheet, PIS for the Ruto defense.
I was consulting with my colleague, so I missed what you said. Okay. Yes. Yes, the answer is yes, Mr. President.
Yes, I see you looked at the transcript and you've seen what I said.
Thank you, Mr. President. My apologies.
Le document de la défense.
The Ruto defense document will be KenPIS 0001-0008 and will be confidential. It is a 2-page document.
Thank you very much. Witness, that is the end of the questions from the defense counsel for Mr. Ruto. They will no longer ask you questions in cross-examination. Prosecutor, do you have re-examination?
Microphone.
I beg your pardon, my microphone. I do have 5 issues I need to address arising out of cross-examination.
And also, you do recall that I had also posed some questions in the course of cross-examination. I take it you will also, if need be, taking those up in your re-examination, if you have any questions arising from those.
I will, Your Honor.
Witness, the lawyer who called you.
Mr. President, I do apologize. I come here a bit late, but we might actually have 2 questions, if that's still possible.
Fair enough. 2 questions. In public or private?
Can be public.
All right, witness, I maybe spoke too fast because counsel for Mr. Sang had earlier said they did not have any questions, but it looks like towards the end of Mr. File's questions, some questions might have occurred to them to ask you. So they will ask you 2 questions now in cross-examination. That's Ms. Bosman, the lawyer representing Mr. Sang today. So she would also ask you questions in cross-examination. Ms. Bosman?
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, Mr. Witness.
Thank you.
2 questions on behalf of the defense for Mr. Sang. The first, just for you to confirm that you do not know Mr. Ruto personally. Is that correct?
1 second. That who does not know Mr. Ruto personally?
The witness.
But that's a question for Mr. Ruto.
That's correct. Can I ask it or not?
No.
Let's move on to the second
Please
question.
move on to the next one.
Mr. Witness, can you confirm that you do not know Mr. Sung personally? Is that correct?
It's correct.
But you only saw him on television.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. I have no further questions. I just wish you a safe journey back home. Thank you.
Witness, that brings to an end the questions for Mr. Sang's lawyer. Now, I will hand you back to the prosecutor, Mr. Steinberg, for re-examination.
Thank you, Your Honours. Your Honours, I have two matters I can deal with in open session. The other matters I will ask to go into private session to deal with. Mr. Witness, my learned friend has, for the first accused, Mr. Ruto, asked you a number of questions relating to the use of the term madoa-doa. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And he played you a video showing a different person, Mr. Raila Odinga, using that term on another occasion at a rally. You recall that?
Yes.
Now, I then want to take you back to your evidence relating to what exactly you heard Mr. Ruto say on the occasion you've testified about when you happened upon him addressing a group of people near the Paradise Hotel. You recall that?
Yes.
And I'll read from the edited transcript of the 17th of October, page 27, from line 11. You told the court, "The specific words that I heard from Mr. Ruto, he told the crowd and the people present that time had come for the people in that area to show their true colors and do all what is necessary and what is available to make sure the madoa-doa are removed, because the people referred to as madoa-doa were not in good terms with the area residents because of their political affiliation." You recall saying that?
Yes.
Now my question is, on this occasion, did Mr. Ruto mention anything to do with a three-piece suit?
No.
You were asked to estimate the distance from which you observed Mr. Ruto saying these words, and you gave an estimate of 10-20 meters. Is it possible for you to estimate in this courtroom from where you sit, or from one end of the courtroom to the other, as to how far it was, or is that not big enough?
Mr. President, I'll object to that question. I'll object to that question because the witness's answer is perhaps being restricted to the size of this courtroom. We do not know what this witness would say with regards to what is 10 meters. And also, Mr. President, this is a question that you should have asked during examination in chief. The question asked during cross-examination elicited very clear answers from the witness. There is no need to really reopen the issue.
Objection is sustained.
As the court pleases. The distance at which you were when Mr. Ruto was speaking, which you've estimated as 10 to 20 meters, from that distance, how was your ability to hear what Mr. Ruto said?
Mr. President, isn't this the same question, just put differently?
Your Honours, it's an entirely different question as it doesn't relate at all to the distance, but to the ability of the witness to observe, which has been put in issue in cross-examination.
Counsel, I will sustain the objection for the reason that that is a question that counsel ought to have foreseen in examination in chief.
As the Court pleases. Let me move on then, Mr. Witness, to your evidence or your answers to questions relating to person number 6's son. I don't know whether you still have the prosecution PIS in front of you.
Yes.
And you testified that in your evidence in chief, that on the 30th of December 2007, while on your way to KenyaMOJA Center, you received a call from person number 6 telling you that his house had been attacked and burnt the previous night, correct?
Yes.
And that later that day, while at the center, you received a second call during which person number 6 reported that his son had in fact died.
Yes.
One of his sons had died.
Yes.
Do you know how many sons person number 6 in fact had?
No.
Very well, I'll move on. Your Honours, the next matters I will require to show documents to the witness. I'll ask we go into private session, please.
We go into private session.